guys, and welcome back to Spectacular Sport. And in this video I'll be giving my 2025 March Madness predictions. I haven't really recorded a video like this for a while, since like the playoff predictions for the NFL video. In a couple of days I'll make my MLB predictions video, and I'll try to start posting long form videos more consistently. But yeah, let's get into it. So starting in the South region, we have Auburn versus 16 seed. I don't think Auburn, they haven't been that hot recently, but I still think Auburn's got it. And Louisville Creighton, that's a fun game. I'm surprised Louisville's an 8 seed because they made the ACC title. Like, I know the ACC's bad, but I respect Louisville, and I think Creighton's solid, but I'm thinking Louisville in this matchup. So then Michigan versus UC San Diego. That's a really fun game because I really like UC San Diego, but I think Michigan just too much. I think after winning the Big Ten, they're really hot, so I'm picking Michigan. A&M versus Yale. I could see this as a Yale upset, but I think A&M is just a little too good, so I'll pick them. Moving on to Ole Miss versus San Diego State versus UNC. I think whoever wins between San Diego State and UNC, which is going to be a good game. Even though UNC probably shouldn't have made the tournament, I think North Carolina just will lock in, as everyone says. I think that they're gonna win and beat Ole Miss, and there's always one of these these last teams in that wins a first round game, so I'm picking them. And then give me Iowa State over Lipscomb. Never heard of that college until like this week. And then Marquette, New Mexico. New Mexico is solid, but I just don't think they have enough star power to beat Marquette. And then I'll take Michigan State. Okay, moving down here to the West, we have Florida versus Norfolk State. Florida looked really good against everyone in the SEC tournament, and I think they have no problem. And UConn, Oklahoma. I'm surprised Oklahoma is a 9 seed. I would expect them to be like a 10 or 11. I think UConn, they're probably not going to win it this year like they have in the last 2 years, but they're still a solid team. Memphis, Colorado State. There's always these trendy 12-over-5s, and I think Colorado State's going to beat Memphis. Memphis has won a lot of games really close, and I don't know, that's not a winning recipe in March, so give me Colorado State. In between Maryland and Grand Canyon, I like Maryland, I like Grand Canyon, but I think Maryland just overall a better team. Missouri versus Drake. I had Drake on going like a Sweet 16 run last year. Hey, by the way, my bracket last year was really bad, but I don't know, I don't believe in Drake this year as much. They have a lot of young players, so give me Missouri. And then Texas Tech versus UNC Wilmington. I'll take Texas Tech. Arkansas, Kansas. Kansas was like the AP #1 team preseason, I'm pretty sure. They just haven't lived up to those expectations. And I actually like Arkansas, so I'll take them. And St. John's, Omaha. Respect for Omaha, but I think St. John's is just a really good team, so I think they win that. Okay, moving up all the way to the East, we have Duke, who I think is the best team in college basketball. I think they'll easily win. Mississippi State versus Baylor. Baylor hasn't looked that impressive this year. Mississippi State has looked pretty solid. I'll pick them. Oregon versus Liberty. As a Washington fan, I hate Oregon, but I also don't really like Liberty. But in terms of just pure basketball, I'd say that Liberty pulls off an upset. Akron, Arizona. Arizona honestly looks way better than I thought they did in the Big 12 tournament. Almost beating Houston, or at least being with them the entire game. Akron's a solid team, but I think Arizona wins, but that might be an upset. Alright, BYU versus VCU, Virginia Commonwealth. I like that team a lot. I think if they played like a worse 6 seed like Ole Miss or something, they would win, but I think BYU is just too good. Give me the Cougars. Wisconsin, Montana. Wisconsin looked pretty good in the Big Ten, but honestly, I think Montana could upset here, and I really want to pick them, but I think I'll barely go Wisconsin. Which brings us down here to St. Mary's, Vanderbilt. St. Mary's very good at defense. Vanderbilt pretty solid at everything, but one of the 14 SEC teams that made it in, so nothing special from them. But I'll actually go Vandy in a little bit of an upset there. And Alabama their offense is just too much for Robert Morris. Give me the Crimson Tide. So moving down here to the Midwest, we have Houston, who I feel like them, Auburn, and Duke are like, and Florida, honestly, like I feel like they could all have the case for the best team in college basketball. So I got Houston winning. Gonzaga, Georgia, Battle of the Bulldogs. That's gonna be an entertaining game, but I think Gonzaga wins. And moving down, 12 versus 5 matchups. Everyone loves to pick the 12 seed. I think McNeese is solid, but I think Clemson's defense is really good. And Purdue, I like Purdue. But I think High Point, their offense is just too dynamic. I say that like I watch High Point basketball a lot, but I think they're gonna upset Purdue. Okay, Illinois versus Texas Tech, or not Texas Tech. Okay, Texas or Xavier. Honestly, I think Xavier is gonna beat Texas, but I think Illinois is gonna beat Xavier. And then we have Kentucky versus Troy. Honestly, Troy's the team to beat Kentucky, and another Kentucky lost to a 14 seed, but I'll take the Wildcats. UCLA versus Utah State. I mean, they're both solid teams, but I'll go Utah State in a 50-50 game. Like, what is the thing here? Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah. Tennessee has no trouble. Okay, that brings us to the round of 32. In the South. Okay. Last year, I picked Auburn. They were the 4th seed in the same region, actually. And then they played Yale in the first round, and they lost to Yale. I had them going to the Final Four and taking down number 1 UConn on the way there. So honestly, Auburn basketball, I kind of have a grudge against them since then. And Louisville, I think they're honestly a really good team out of the ACC, even though the ACC is pretty bad. But I'll take Louisville in a upset and beating the number 1 overall team. Michigan versus A&M. This is going to be a great game, but I think Michigan. And then I think San Diego State or North Carolina, their road's going to end here against Iowa State, which is a great team. Marquette versus Michigan State. Honestly, this could be back and forth, but I think when it's all said and done, Michigan State is going to win. Okay, down to the West, we have Florida versus UConn. UConn, they could surprise everyone and win a 3rd straight, but I don't think that's going to happen because I'm taking Gators. Colorado State, Michigan. Honestly, I think this Colorado State team could be a pretty good Cinderella, so I think they're going to take down Maryland too. Maryland's a solid team, but I don't know if I trust them in March. Missouri versus Texas Tech. That's going to be a fun game, but I think Texas Tech is just too much star power. And then St. John's defense is going to destroy Arkansas. I'll just go down to this area. Tennessee has no trouble against Utah State. I'll take Kentucky over Illinois, but I don't know. I could take either one. Clemson versus High Point. A team in South Carolina versus a team in North Carolina. I think South Carolina team wins. Give me Clemson to move on to the Sweet 16. And then Houston, Gonzaga. I'll take Houston, actually. Gonzaga, that's going to be a popular pick, though. Vanderbilt, Alabama. I think Alabama gets revenge after losing to them in football this year. Wisconsin, BYU. I've gone back and forth, but I think BYU is just a better team. Liberty, Arizona. I think Arizona gets them. Caleb Love's just too good. And then I'll take Duke over Mississippi State. Okay, Sweet 16. Louisville, Michigan. Go Wolverines. Iowa State, Michigan State. I think Michigan State, they're with a chip on their shoulder after losing to Wisconsin. I think they're going to take down Iowa State, which sets up a big rivalry in the Elite Eight. Okay, down south in the West, I think Florida is going to end Colorado State's Cinderella, and I think St. John's is just too much for Texas Tech. So we have a 1 versus 2. Okay, other than Colorado State and Arkansas, this is a very chalky region. Okay, Kentucky, Tennessee. And, I might pick, another 1 versus 2. Honestly, this Houston team has looked really good, don't get me wrong. But I think Clemson just has been under the radar all year, and I love their defense and team chemistry. I think Clemson gets another Elite Eight appearance. Okay, up here, BYU, Alabama. Grant Nelson and Mark Sears. That might be one of the best duos in the country, at least top 5. But honestly, I don't know how far Bama's offense can get them, because their defense is just really bad. And I think BYU is just too well of a rounded team. BYU makes the Elite Eight. Okay, moving up, Duke, Arizona. Yeah, I don't think Arizona has a chance with playing Duke. Okay, now we have my Elite Eight predictions. So to get to the Final Four from the South region, we have Michigan versus Michigan State, all-time classic. but I'm rolling with the team that won the Big Ten. I think Michigan's going to make the Final Four as a 5 seed, get past UC San Diego, A&M, Louisville, and other rivals in Lansing. In the West, St. John's, Florida. St. John's, they're a great team, but, I think Florida is just better. And then Clemson versus Tennessee. That's a good game, but I think Tennessee's. We'll get that. And in the last game, we have BYU Duke. BYU's not really a Cinderella run, but I think this run will be in by the Blue Devils. Okay, here are my final 4. 2 1 seeds, a 2 seed, and a 5 seed. Michigan, Florida. That would be a really entertaining game. But I think Florida with Walter Clayton, they're overall just a good team, man. I think Florida's going to make the national title. And who will they play? Duke or Tennessee? Honestly, I think by this time, Tennessee might look like one of the best teams in the country, but led by Cooper Flagg and probably the best roster, can be Duke. So that's the type of 1 versus 1, Florida versus Duke, national title. And in this game, I got Duke. How many total points? I think it's going to be, I don't know. Let's go, 140. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Here is my final 2025 March Madness predictions. I know a decent amount of college basketball, but not as much as other sports. So, this bracket is probably nowhere near from perfect when it's all said and done. But that's just what I think is gonna happen. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.